birthday of my uncle and brother of my grandmother, and he is 90 years old on Saturday. 90 years old on Saturday.
Wow, we wish you and him a very happy birthday and good life. Today is a very special day. It's the 12th of December, 12th of the 12th month. So 12 double 12 or 12 in the power of 2 is 144 Adam. So with this blessing, this is our blessing
Yeah,
to him. Thank you so much.
thank you very much.
Thank you. And Fernando, good morning.
Good evening, Eti. Shalom and Shalom, Rodrigo. Shalom, friends. How are you doing, Eti?
Fine, fine. It's a beautiful day here. Winter day with 25 degrees. So this is the winter
Oh,
this
this
time.
is good.
Yes, yes.
This
Any
is good.
questions,
Here
Fernando?
we are.
Yes?
I do not have questions, Eti. I'm ready to. I'm at the whiteboard and I'm ready to follow you
Good,
to this
good.
meeting.
Uh, Rodrigo, do you have any access to the whiteboard you can see or just by hearing now?
Just by here, actually, I only audio today, and I cannot see the whiteboard because I on my mobile. So I
Okay.
just listen you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So
Thank
you're
you very much.
listening and thank you for listening. And Venus is here. Good morning, Venus and Fernando. Let's move into the our friend, whiteboard. 1 second. Here it is. What do we see here? Oh,
We
what?
see the Genesis chapter 29 and we see a beautiful picture. I
Yes,
think that could be about Laban
true.
and Jacob with Leah and Rachel, maybe.
Excellent. Excellent. This is it. Very good. This is it. Laban, Jacob, Leah, and Rachel. Beautiful picture. And would you like to ask something about the picture of or the text, or shall we just start reading the text?
No, I think that we can start with the text.
Thank you. So here's Felipe. Good morning, Felipe. Shalom, shalom. And here, yes, here it is. Can you see the text?
Yes.
Thank you.
So so let's start it. Okay. Genesis chapter 29. Now Laban had two daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. And Leah's eyes were weak, but Rachel was of beautiful form and fair to look upon. And Jacob loved Rachel, and he said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, the younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to thee, than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had to her. And Jacob said unto Laban,
Do you hear Fernando?
into her. Hello,
Yes, now we hear you.
Eti?
Yes, now we hear you, Fernando. Hello?
Okay, I don't know where stopped Eti.
Can you please
Hello?
read verse 20 because we lost you in the middle?
Okay. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had to her. And Jacob said unto Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are filled, that I may go in into her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in into her. And Laban gave Zilpah his handmaid into his daughter Leah for a handmaid. And it came to pass in the morning that, behold, It was Leah, and he said to Laban, "What is this thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Whereof then hast thou beguiled me?" And Laban said, "It is not so done in our place, to give the younger before the firstborn."
Thank you so much. So many questions I have to ask. But first, when we see the marked words here in Hebrew, in verse 18, Vayehav Yaakov et Rachel, and Jacob loved Rachel. What usually comes to our mind when we see this verse? What comes
A
into
man
mind?
I
who,
think about someone that is, yes.
Yes, a man loves a woman. Yes,
yeah,
when a man loves a woman, there's a song like this. Now, let's look into the structure of the verse. I will copy here, I'll write the words, and let's see what is the mathematical. And Rodrigo, you here because I will read the numbers. Vayehav,
yeah,
one second. Vayehav, I don't have at the moment. 1 second. I have a confliction. How do you say? The headset are coming. 1 second. Vayehav Yaakov et Rachel. This verse, and Jacob loved Rachel, give us 845. 845 we can read as 8 multiple, or 8 times 45.
360. 360.
Yes. So what is the meaning now? What is the meaning now of the love of Jacob to Rachel?
A full circle.
A full circle, completion, a full circle. Yes. Now let's look into the structure of the name Jacob in Hebrew. You say a circle, and then I draw on the board circle. Now let's look into the name Jacob in Hebrew. Yod, and I make a dash, and Ein Kof Bet. Ein Kof Bet is a heel. The lower part of the foot, or the back part of the foot, in Hebrew, akev. Yod, akev. So the letter Yod we also can write in allegorical way as a drop, like a dot. Many times the potentials start with a drop of water. A drop is also the letter Yod. This is how the sages call the potential, a drop, or the letter Yod, or a drop of an ink before we start to write the letter. So the Yod we can write like a little drop of ink, and akev. Akev is heel. When we look into human structure of foot, we see that the back side of the foot, the heel, is like a half a circle. Is that so, or isn't that so?
Yes.
Yes. And we have, every human has 2 heels. So when we put heel against heel, we have a full circle. Do you understand how to read this abstract in an abstract way?
Yes, I can see it.
This is the
I can
structure.
see.
This is the structure of Jacob. This is why he loves Rachel. Do you understand? This is expression of circles, completion. Felipe, Venus, do you understand? Fernando?
Yes, yes. It makes me remember about Plato, because Plato speaks that the soul is round. You know,
Yes.
I can remember uh, some dialogues that he speaks that our soul is kind of round. It is like a circle,
It's
and also that Plato speaks that when we come to this world, is we suffer like a split. You know, the uh, this is where he sustained that we have like the twin soul. We have the other part of the soul in another person, maybe, you know. This conversation about Rachel and Jacob makes me remember about this split of the soul, that we are just half circle here, and and in this case, Jacob found his other side, you know.
mhm. Another perspective of this verse, if we take it the 8:45, 1 second, we can take it as 4 times 85, when 85 stands for milah. Milah, a word. So we have 4 times word, not just the word that is in the thought, but Daled 4 stands for Daled, and Dalet stands for the heavenly kingdom, Malchut. The board is not writing today. So the word, the spoken word. So the love of Jacob to Rachel is not what people think usually when a man loves a woman, but the love of a spoken word. The word that is being heard. Do you remember? 1 second. Yes, 1 second. Yes, it's true. It's true, Felipe. Do you remember that we were speaking about Alma Deit Galia and Alma Deit Cassia, the concealed world and the revealed world, and the letters of thinking and the letters of speaking? Do you remember? Once we were speaking
Yeah.
about Dinah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And we were reading from the 18th century writing saying that the spoken, the root of the spoken word is higher than the word or the letters of the thought. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes.
So now we see the root. This is very, very interesting because what we can see here is the structure of the spiritual root of the spoken word, which is completion. It's like a crown, round.
I see.
Yes,
I don't know if I right, but if we add Yaakov plus ratio, what number we get? Because
four.
I believe ratio is 420, right?
True, true. 420. Jacob and Rachel
M-
is 420. Yes,
Maseh Bereshit, the
excellent,
42, right?
excellent, excellent. Maseh Bereshit, excellent. Maseh Bereshit. Yes, Jacob and Rachel is 420, like Maseh Bereshit. Membet letters. Also, the name with the 4 letters, the tetragrammaton, first comes as 4 letters, then expands into 10 letters, This is why we call it the filling of the letter Yod. We have 10 letters, and then it expands more until it reaches 42 letters. Yes, and also this is stands also for Maaseh Bereshit. Excellent. Excellent. Questions or thoughts? Felipe is writing on YouTube 8 times 45. 45 makes me think of infinite as 8 and 45 as human. That's true. That's true. Thoughts or questions?
And Eti, how can we approach to this symbol thinking that Jacob is the letter Vav, like in this picture that is in the screen, you know?
Yes.
Jacob is the one who connects Binah and Malchut,
Excellent.
is the one who makes the
Excellent.
connection between the two.
Excellent.
And why the Vav, the Zerampin, loves Malchut, you know? What does it mean?
Good. Very good. Now, who is Laban? Since you're going into this, there are several questions. Very good. Which one is
Is
Laban?
Chokmah?
Yes?
I think that Laban is this one.
Yes. This is the Yod, or wisdom. Yes? Sorry for the pen, which is not fluent today. Second. Laban. This is the letter Yod. And we have here Jacob, the letter Vav. Which one is one? Fernando, which one is Leah? Which one is Rachel?
I think that this is Leah. Uh, you know, she had soft eyes and she is like hidden. Her face is hidden.
Yes.
And here is Rachel,
Yes.
who is beautiful for the eyes
Yes.
and you can see that we can see her arms, you know, she's manifested.
Yes.
And Leah is is like hidden.
Yes. Yes. Now continue to ask your question. You said about the Vav. Yes. About the Vav, is there Anpi? Can you please ask?
Yes, I was wondering if we take Jacob as Zerampin, why the Zerampin loves the manifested, the Malchut, you know?
Because this is a very good question. Now I'll try to make it. Zer Anpin loves the kingdom Malchut because he can influence the heavenly kingdom. This is why he loves the Malchut. He can influence. I would like to write here something. Excuse me for not being able to articulate what I wish to say. While drawing, I have to speak now by heart because somehow there is no good connection between the pen and the board. You can imagine I just cannot write because it stops my stream of thinking. Ze'er Anpin, or the Vav, loves Malchut because Ze'er Anpin can influence all the goodness, all the light from the 6 spheres, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, not Netzach Oden, you saw the 6 spheres, the completion. He can stream, he can give the light to the heavenly kingdom. This is why he loves Malchut, because he can give her. So love is basically giving. But there is another aspect. This is one aspect why the Vav in a way loves the Hay. It's not so much about Jacob and Rachel. It's about Zer Anpin and Malchut. He would like, in Hebrew we call it lehorik brachot, to empty all the blessings that he carries, all the goodness, all the abundance that he has, he would like to give to the heavenly kingdom. This is how he is structured. Because the Vav is the light, this is also the structure of the letter Vav is long and thin, like a candle, it's vertical, and the Hay is the vessel. It's like a triangle, it's like a glass or a cup. So the nature of light is to give. So the light always looks for vessel. Where can the light illuminate? Of course, the heavenly kingdom is the most dark, the darkest place, so he will go naturally. It's more of a law of nature, I would say. So we can look sometimes at the light as a water, and the water always streams from the highest place to the lowest place. This is the nature of water. This is the nature law. Now, you asked a very good question about Zer Anpin and Malchut, and why the tendency of Zer Anpin is to love Malchut and not to love Bina. This is a very good question. Sorry for not being able to write, but maybe this is a bliss at the moment. Bina for Zer Anpin is considered to be an influencer. It's about relations. For Malchut, the Vav is the influencer, the one who gives, Hamashpia. He has the light and he can give it to the heavenly kingdom. But this is the relation between the Vav and the Hay, or between Jacob, let's call it, and Rachel. But the relations between Bina and Tiferet, understanding and Zer Anpin, or Leah and Jacob, are completely different. In the relations between Leah and Jacob, or understanding Bina, or the upper Hay and the Vav, everything is opposite. The influencer, Hamashpia, the influencer, is the hidden. And the Vav is already revealed. The relation between the Hay and the Vav is like a pregnant mother. Hay, Bina, is like a mother, and in her womb there is a letter Vav. This is not a direct, just imagine, just try to imagine a letter Hay, which is a womb, and the womb has a fetus. The womb holds a fetus, and the fetus is the letter Vav. So, in this kind of relation, the womb or the mother is influencing the fetus. So, the mother is a giver, and the fetus, the Vav, is the receiver. So in this kind of relation, the Vav feels himself like a child. Of course, the Vav would like to go out of the womb, of the hay, of Binah, of understanding, of the thought, to go out in the world. He would like to be a man. And when he goes out from the womb, he can be a man and he can be big. He can influence all the lights that he conceived to the heavenly kingdom, to Rachel. Do we understand this kind of thinking?
It is beautiful, Eti. Yes, I understand. And it is interesting that it is amazing what you are just saying. And if we continue in this analogy, uh, we think that, the child or the immature mind, let's say, maybe, or the immature sentiment, that is the Zeranpin, when it's immature, it it wants to give to the world this love,
Yes.
But since it is immature, it needs first to go to the darkness,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I- we have a great secret here for me, it seems, that because sometimes we receive some ideas, creative ideas,
Mm.
and we wish to put it to the world. But it's not easy to put it to the world because you need a vessel, you know. You wish Rachel, you wish a vessel, but first you need to stay with the darkness for a long time, you know.
Yes.
I don't know if I make myself clear, but
Yes. Yes. Sometimes it's so right. Sometimes we have ideas, good ideas, but we cannot manifest them immediately, meaning we cannot take them out to the world immediately when we have this idea. It's like a seed, and a seed has to develop. We put in the ground. If we take a seed of wheat, that it will bring a wheat, we have to put it in the darkness of the ground, of the earth. It has first to be rotten and open, that the shell of the seed will open. And there's a process in the darkness. But the process in the darkness make the seed grow. We cannot take the seed immediately to the light. Do we understand this?
Yes, I believe I can understand.
And this is the process of life. It's not through the story of Jacob and Rachel and Leah, through people, but this is the secret of life. There's a process, and the process usually happens in the darkness. We don't like the world. This is why the Zohar speaks widely about these relations between Jacob and Leah, or the Vav and the first hay. The Zohar says in Aramaic, Bnei Nasha, human beings, Mesane in Aramaic, hate, Aryan Imei. They don't like their mothers, so to speak. It's not about people. We don't like to be conceived in darkness. It's not about our physical bodies, our mind. We don't like that our mind is wandering in darkness. we'd like to have an articulate speech. This is why Vayehav Yaakov et Rachel, and Jacob loved Rachel. We love to have a coherent speech, clear speech as the daylight. It's clear, we are happy, our mind is sorted, our heart is in its place, in its place, it's not split. This is the meaning. It's not about the relations between ancient people.
It is, and it is interesting also that to feel comfortable. I don't know if comfortable is the right word, but to find grace in the darkness, it is needed to be mature man, mature human. Because the things go slow, and it is like to find the meaning where we are when we are passing through some dark times,
Mm-hmm.
like the dark times of the soul.
Yes. This is interesting because when we looked at the structure of 845 or 4 times 85, what happens if we take the name Leah or the darkness? Leah is 36. And we take the 4. And 4 times 36 is 144. This is Adam. And those are the 4. This is very interesting. Though the Zohar says this is a very, very deep perspective that the Zohar speaks or discuss many times, why human beings hate the mothers or the mother's womb. Because they'd like to go into the world and to be, so to speak, savages. Because what happens is once the Vav conceived into the hidden, and this is what we have, or the unification, when Jacob has Leah first, she gives birth to 4 sons, one after the others. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda. Those 4 sons, she's hosting 4, so to speak, future children. 4 double time her name, which is a womb, 36 is 144. And with those 4 pregnancies of 4 children, she is correcting Genesis 2. Because in Genesis 2, Adam says, or the man says, Hapa'am zot, this time, this is in Hebrew, Etzem Atzamai, essence of my essence, flesh of my flesh. Etzem Atzamai, Basar Mibsari, Lazot Yikare Isha. To this we shall call a woman, Ki Mi'ish Lukacha. He speaks about his cognition. He can speak. And what we read in Genesis 2, that God took Adam and put him to sleep and took a rib, so to speak, a tzela from, and he built from it a woman. It's not a physical, but this is it. This is the correction. The whole story of Jacob Leah and Rachel and Laban is like the second episode of chapter 2 in Genesis. If there's a play on stage, the story of Jacob is in episode 2 of Genesis 2. What we see here with those four letters or four people is a correction or explanation or widening the plot and explaining us what is happening in the seed of chapter 2. Do we understand that?
Yes, it is quite something.
In Genesis 2, God puts Adam to sleep. The word, sorry, he puts Adam to sleep. The word that the Bible uses to put to sleep, deep sleep, tardeima. The sages, or Luria reads it, tered. Tered is to descend, to go down, to fall, so to speak. Tered ma, to fall down. From what is ma? "45. Ma is Adam.
Yes.
So, what is the meaning of sleep? To descend from the spiritual height of Adam, to descend from the spiritual height of human. The spiritual height of human is vertical. Sleeping is horizontal. In a way, we have to read the story, and this is what the Zohar does, or also Luria and Hasidism. This is the right entry to read the story of Genesis 2 with the story of Jacob. This is it.
See,
Yes.
came to my mind just an image. It's not how can I say? Uh, it's another perspective from what you said about uh, Laban and Leah and Jacob and Rachel. Because if we get the the father Laban and the two daughters, the first letter of each of them, uh, we get the ratio. The Resh is 200,
Mm-hmm.
and Lavan and Leah is 30. Then we get 260, right?
1 second. Let's write again. I would like to write it. Will move with the
Just
board.
the first,
Yeah.
just the
Yes.
first letter.
The first letter of with whom? 1 second.
Lavan
Yes.
and his daughter and his
Yes.
daughters.
Yes.
Yes, it's 260, right?
1 second. So you take the first letter of each.
Yes, Lavan
Yes. You take the
and his
lamed.
daughters. Yes, two laments and one resh.
Yes. Lamed.
And then yes,
1 second. I will write it on the board. Lavan is Lamed. Resh is 200 for Rachel. And Lamed for Leah. Yes?
Yes. Yes. So we get the 260,
Yes.
and we get the Yod of Jacob, the Yaakov or Israel,
Yes.
stand for the 10 Sefirot. So we get the 26 for each Sefirot. When you get these four names, these four letters of these names, we get the 26, which Laban and his daughters, and we
Excellent.
get the 10 Sefirot with Yaakov. Just came to my mind. Listen, you, I just thinking this. I don't know if it makes sense to you, Ed.
Yes, 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 yes. Because the 10 stands for the Yod of Jacob, Yaakov, or
Yeah,
Israel. Very good. Excellent. Excellent.
the 10
Excellent.
Sefirot in there. Just came to my mind
Excellent.
just for
Very
sharing.
good. Very good.
Thank
Very good.
you very much.
Very good. Very good. Why do we discuss? Why do we discuss this? Rodrigo, you get from Venus a splash of fire as a comment for what you just said.
Oh, thank you very much, Venus. Thank you very much.
Yes. Why do we discuss this relations? Why did I bring this? Why it is so important to see through stories, so to speak, of others? The question is, do we recognize ourselves in the story?
Yes.
This is it. That when we feel uncomfortable feelings with being in the dark, with some kind of an idea or a good seed, it is to tell us not to run away from this. It has a reason, and the reason is embedded in the core of creation. This is how things are built. And there is no use to fight in them or to reject them. This is how things are. And the more we admit how things are, the more we're close to the truth. And the more a person is close to the truth, there's less suffering. Questions or thoughts?
And maybe this closeness to the truth is the wholeness that you put in the beginning of the conversation.
Yes.
This completion, right?
Yes, yes. Because David says, guide me in the circles of justice. Justice and truth, they go together. Justice is a circle. Thoughts, questions, Felipe?
T, Just one question.
Yes.
I couldn't understand right the relation between Adam and Eve and Jacob. Why the Zohar reads these two stories in a parallel way? Could you
Yeah.
just? I can listen after, but I couldn't understand properly.
Yes, thank you for the question. Adam, the story about Adam in Genesis 2 is like a core text. It's like a foreword. And what we see in the core relation in Genesis 2, the same theme we shall find later in Jacob's story. We have Genesis 2. I take it because this is how the sages, all of the sages describing the same scene. Genesis 2, this is one, and Jacob's story. Jacob's story takes place in several chapters in the Bible. Let's call it Jacob's story. In Genesis 2, we read about how Adam gives name to all the animals and he doesn't find a companionship, and God puts him to sleep. All of this story, and then while Adam is asleep, people think about surgery, that somebody cut something and take. This is a much complex story, Genesis 2. I hope we can recite it and learn more about it, because it's concerning our awareness as humans. So what happens in Genesis 2, we have Adam. I cannot write, so I have to speak. We have Adam with two forms or stages of recognition in Genesis 2. The story, the second tale of creation, as Weinreb call it. There is Adam with two modes of recognition. This is the core text. Later on in the Bible, when we read Jacob's story, which is a sequence that goes along few chapters, there is there is the same theme. Jacob is a corrected version of Adam. And as a corrected version of Adam, he, so to speak, has to deal with two kinds of or levels of awareness. Leah as the night. Leah, Leah, sounds like Laila, night in Hebrew. So Jacob has to deal with Leah and with Rachel. Leah is the aspect of a night in a person, the unconscious. Rachel is the daylight, the recognition, cognitive speech. So, of course, that the aim of creation is to listen to the spoken word, which is Rachel. But before we are able to speak and articulate speech, we are crossing nights. Like Genesis 1 says, and there's an evening, there's evening, there's morning, Vayhi Erev, Vayhi Boker, Yom Echad. To be able to see the morning, first we have to cross the night. Or, without the night, without the vessel. There is no light, there is no morning. So, the story of Jacob, Leah, and Rachel is not a story, it's not a triangle of love between three people, love and hate. It's not about it. It's about how our mind works. We don't like to stay in the darkness. But the Bible teaches that the darkness is part of the day. The day could not have happened if there is no proceeding process of a night. Do we understand that?
Yes.
Did I? Yes, Felipe?
Yes, this is beautiful, Eti. I was reading just this morning story of Jacob in the Yabok River, and two things called my attention. One is about the fact that Jacob sleeps and dreams, and things happen in the night with him. In when he sees the stairs, I can remember the proper term. Stairs, the ladder.
The ladder, the dream of the ladder.
Yes, and after this he struggled with the man, the angel. Two situations that he's sleeping, that he's I don't know, just thinking about this, the fact of him sleeping and Adam sleeps also. And yes, I don't know, I was reading today and it caught my attention, and it's incredible you brought these stories today. And also just another word that happened two times in this story that caught my attention was, if I can remember properly, is shahar, which is like the dawn. And you mentioned the day, the daylight, and this shahar, I guess it's shin chet resh. It's like the aurora is the dawn.
Yes.
And has this value of 508, which is also a milah. And so to bring it all these connections, I was dealing with this and wanted to share with you all.
It's excellent, excellent. Shachar is the dawn, aurora, which is 508, or we can read it as 85 as the word. With the dawn comes also the recognition, the dawn of our mind, that the tongue is able to speak words.
Yes, and Jacob struggled until the morning, until the dawn. I guess this is the word is mentioned in the text.
Yes, until the dawn.
Until, in a way, he conquered the world.
Until he gained his new name, Israel.
Yes.
He was fighting with duality all night long. With his name, Jacob. He was fighting with his name because the meaning of his name is duality, two angels or two entities. Yes, and in the morning you say, yeah, you're not two, you're one. You're not Jacob, you're not two. You're one, Israel. You're not two half of a circles like two hills. You're not two hills. Your one head.
Full circle. Full circle.
Full circle. Full circle. Excellent.
Yes.
This is the correction.
Yes.
Yes, and it's beautiful because what you bring is that the picture of Jacob at night. At night he dreams about the ladder. At night he has a struggle in Yabok. By the way, it's good that you mentioned the crossing of Yabok, because the crossing of Yabok also holds the name of Jacob, Ma'avar Yabok. Ma'avar, as Rodrigo noticed, Ma'avar holds the letter Ain, Ma'avar, and Yabok is the name of the river. In Hebrew, 3 letters, Yabok, and when we take the Ain and put it here, we get the name Yaakov. So it's the crossing of Jacob. You see the Ain, Ma'avar, Mem, Ain, Bet, Resh, when the crossing is the crossing of the 70s, or the crossing of,
Yes.
yes, the Ain, where he leaves time behind and goes to the
The eye.
timeless, because Israel is the name of the tree of life, or timeless. So he crosses the time, the how do you say, the border of time in him, and arrives to a timeless in himself. And this is the correction. This is the correction of Adam. As falling Adam, again, as falling Adam, he is named Jacob. But as a corrected Adam, he is named Israel. Thank you, Venus. Do we understand how though we read different stories in the Bible with different peoples, with different scenes, places, do we understand that this is the same story about human recognition?
Yes, gente.
Questions or thoughts?
No, it gives us a lot to think. It is quite something. It's really beautiful.
I will try after class somewhere maybe during the night to find the quote from the Zohar, Fernando. Why humans hate their mothers, or the night, or the womb. I will try to find the quotation in Aramaic and post it on Discord and find.
Please, it.
Yes, that, because
I appreciate it. Thank you.
you're most welcome, because we can see it's not something when a person with himself, he thinks something is wrong with him. But when we discuss those most inner thoughts, or things, little bridges that we cross during the day with ourselves, inner selves, and we share them, we get a different perspective. It's something which is common among human, and this is why I like to share this with us, because otherwise, if a person goes alone, how do you say, with himself, it could feel like, maybe I'm weird, and no, why do I think those thoughts, and so. But when we share those studies and writings are happenings for thousands of years, people are writing about it. And once we come across those writings, we are noticing we're not the only people who crosses those bridges. There are people that crossed these bridges before us, and they're just sharing this with us to show us the way. This is it.
Amazing.
So thank you so much for being here today with us. I have not enough words to thank you, because without you, it could not have happened. And
Thank you, Eti. Without
And
you, would not happy also.
yes.
So you're very
because
important to what you
because
say to us. Thank you very much.
Yes.
you know,
Thank you
because
so much.
just one another sentence, because the fact that you are here and you discuss those words, those concepts, number, abstract, you revive worlds, universes inside. Because if you are not here, everything would be sleeping in a book, covered under dust and under the way of time. But the fact you are here and you're open for discussion, you're open to look into the letters, into the numbers, into those ideas, you are creating, you're reviving infinite universes. And I would like to thank you for being who you are.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eti. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eti.
Thank you so much, and have a
Thank
wonderful
you,
week.
Eti.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
friends.
Thank you so much.
Those are meaningful words, Eti. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes. Touch very deep in our hearts. You know that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.